Good evening and welcome to Brandon Stadium for tonight's Sky Sports Elite League fixture, the Coventry BUILDBASE Bees versus the Kings Lynn Stars. The Bees return to action tonight, looking to bounce back after double defeats on Good Friday against the Poole Pirates, and tonight's visit of the Kings Lynn Stars represents a reasonable chance of points in the Sky Sports Elite League. That said, Kings Lynn have started the season brightly. Narrow defeats at both Eastbourne and Peterborough have given them encouragement, and they are led at number 1 by Dane Niels Christian Everson, who certainly seems to be revelling in his new role with some impressive recent scores. Kings Lynn are skippered by fellow Dane Mads Corneliusson, and he scored a 15-point maximum here at Coventry on his last visit. And the Stars also include World Under-21 champion Maciej Janowski, who is a key member of their side. Dropping to reserve for the Stars is German Kevin Wolbert, and he could be a trump card for them here tonight. And the Stars' middle order is boosted by Coventry asset Jordan Frampton. And with Daniel Nurmark completing the top 5, the Bees will have to look out for him here at Brandon this evening. For the Bees, they give a debut tonight to Lee Lanham, who replaces Aaron Summers, who's in action for Premier League Redcar up at Edinburgh. The Bees' heat leaders Scott Nicholls and Chris Harris will both be looking for improved performances after a disappointing Easter, and the contribution tonight of reserves Adam Roynan and Henning Bear could be vital. So with the parade underway, let's look down the two team lineups. For the Stars, they're led at number 1 by Niels Christian Everson. Dan Nurmark at number 2 with Mads Corneliusson at 3. Jordan Frampton goes at 4 with Maciej Janowski at number 5. 2 reserves for the Stars, Kevin Wolbert at 6, Dakota North at number 7. For the BUILDBASE Bees, it's Chris Harris at number 1, Lee Lanham goes at 2. It's Kenny Larson at 3, with Edward Kennett at number 4. Scott Nicholls goes at 5, Adam Roynan at number 6, and Henning Bear at number 7. So looking forward to some good action here at Coventry tonight. It's the BUILDBASE Bees versus the Kings Lynn Stars, so let's join your commentator, Dave Rowe.
So an interesting night in prospect here, I think. Coventry against Kings Lynn. Two sides very different in the way they've been constructed over the winter within the points limit. Both looking to bounce back. Coventry after Good Friday double defeat against Poole. Kings Lynn won their opener at home to Eastbourne a couple of weeks ago, but have since lost 4 on the bounce since then, including against Peterborough home and away, and they lost last night at Swindon, but they only went down by 7, and that was with a team that it's somewhat different to the one they have tonight due to the way the averages have changed. So a very solid looking Kings Lynn side here. Coventry giving a debut to Lee Lanham because Aaron Summers is away racing for Redcar, and they're going to need their top guns, Coventry, to come to the party tonight more than they did in the closing stages against Poole last Friday. Now, it should have track conditions a bit more to their liking here tonight. Obviously, it was different last Friday, I should say, because of the early start, but we have a fairly regular Friday, April evening. It's not particularly warm. But after a wet day yesterday, some really heavy downpours yesterday, it's been largely dry today. Other places have been rained off today because of heavy showers, but looks all pretty clear over Coventry. So it should be an interesting meeting here. Riding in blue off the inside then, Lee Lanham for Coventry in this heat number 1. Daniel Nurmark back with Kings Lynn. He was a Premier League man with them in previous years. He rode for Birmingham last year. He's in yellow off gate 2. It's Chris Harris for the Bees in red off gate 3. And they're very much in form. Niels Christian Everson, the new Kings Lynn number 1, going in white off the outside. The referee is Jim McGregor on tour from Scotland. And here we go with the opening race of tonight's Elite League fixture. Green light comes on, and away they go in a flying start by Niels Christian Everson. Harris missed the start. Lanham made a pretty good one. Nurmark shoveling Harris wide on the second bend. And it's Everson who leads from Lanham, with Nurmark in third and Harris at the back. Nurmark goes flying into turn 3 and 4. Harris goes round the outside to try and pass him, but it's Niels Christian Everson with the advantage. Second place is Lee Lanham, third Daniel Nurmark, and Harris out the back, and we've seen so often in the past, Heat 1 is such a tough one for Chris Harris, and he's now trying to work his way past Daniel Nurmark, who is not the easiest man to pass. Harris tries to come down the inside of Nurmark as they move on to start the third. Harris gets inside Nurmark and moves through into third place. Niels Christian Everson has completely checked out. Lanham riding a safe, sensible second. It's Harris in third and Nurmark at the back, and it was pretty important that Lanham did hold that second place in the early stages of Heat 1, because Harris had missed out on the run to the first bend. Lanham held the second. Harris in third now with Nurmark at the back, and Lanham in trouble, almost puts Harris down on turn 2. Harris goes round Lanham and moves into second place. Niels Christian Everson coming round to win the opening race. Chris Harris had to work hard for second. Third place Lee Lanham and Daniel Nurmark at the back, and Nurmark might well feel he should have had more there, because He got the better of Harris from the gate. Harris had to really work hard to get through into third place, and it was important for Coventry that whilst that was going on, Lanham was holding the second. But we mentioned that Niels Christopherson's in good form this season, winning Heat 1 home and away, and winning lots of races home and away. Had a big day in Poland as well recently when he scored a paid max, so the Dane is looking set to be in good form again tonight. Everson wins the opening race. Chris Harris was second, third place Lee Lanham, and it's 3 apiece from the opening race tonight.
A win for Niels Christian Everson in a race time of 16.
So Everson gets Kings Lynn off to a winning start in Heat 1. We look at the reserves race with Adam Roynan, Henning Beyer, Kevin Walbert and Dakota North. This is where the Kings Lynn change of declaration comes in, because Walbert, who almost rode enough matches last season to gain a rolling average but didn't quite, has now gained said rolling average, and therefore he's dropped to reserve, and it may well come at a good time for him, because he's failed to score in a couple of his recent meetings, including last night at Swindon. So Walbert needing to, in fact he failed to score at Peterborough as well. So Walbert, I think, will benefit from his point of view from a slow reserve. Dakota North, who rides for Ipswich in the Prem, who we've previously seen with Peterborough doubling up. He's in yellow, and for the Bees, Adam Roynan and Henning Beyer. It's been a pretty good reserve combination so far. That's been the reserve combination in most of the meetings we've seen so far. We've yet to see Jason Bunyan in Coventry colours. Adam Roynan has been available for all but the challenge match at Birmingham, where Bunyan wasn't available either. So Roynan in red, Beyer in blue, and Beyer was probably the man who came out with the most credit from the Good Friday meetings against Poole. Very solid home and away, and this is one of the stronger reserve partnerships to face in this heat number 2. I think Walbert riding in white off the inside, Roynan red gate 2, North yellow gate 3 going well for Ipswich this season, and Beyer going in blue off the outside. There's the green light, and away they go. Pretty even break, and too even really. The red lights come on, and I think it may well have been the rider in white, Kevin Walbert, that the referee has called back, but or the referee has spotted. That's the referee unhappy with the start. That one looked a pretty even getaway to me, but may well have been the rider in white who the referee was not happy with, and it's all 4 back for the restart.
And satisfactory start for all 4 riders back to the fence.
I didn't look a lot wrong with that at all, I have to say. Look at the replay. I'm not quite sure why that was being called back. Looked all right to me from the replay, but anyway, of course, if this was a TV meeting, we have these warning signs that get displayed above the riders' heads when they've alleged to have jumped the start. But referee not happy with that one, so we'll try again with heat number 2. Walbert goes in white off the inside. Roynan goes in red off gate 2. It's North in yellow off gate 3, and Beyer goes in blue off the outside. Here we go then with the restart of heat number 2. And let's see if we can get them away this time. Start Marshall walks away. 3 apiece from the opening race. Green light comes on. Away they go this time. They are away. And a great start once again in Heat 2 by Adam Roynan, and gets the bend in front. The stars run second and third. North and Walbert. Beyer at the back. But Roynan does trap well in Heat 2 for the Bees. And he's done so once again off gate 2. And he leads. And now sailing wide off the outside is Walbert. And Beyer will try that move down the inside. Try and regain some ground. But Adam Roynan with the advantage for the Bees. Roynan leads. Stars run second and third with North and Walbert, with Beyer out the back. He couldn't quite make it from gate 4 that time, and the Kings Lynn boys looking fairly comfortable in second and third here, but they're not going to catch Adam Roynan at this stage as long as Adam can ride another couple of fast laps, which he's doing at present. North in second, riding the outside, Walbert in third on the inside, and Beyer, who was impressive here last Friday and rode well at Poole as well, can't get into the equation at this stage. A mistake off the outside there by Dakota North. His teammate Walbert comes down the inside and is set to score for the first time in 3 away matches as he holds second place. It's the stars actually almost riding into each other on the back straight there, but they're fairly safe in second and third. But Adam Roynan gets a good win once again in Heat 2 for the Bees. Roynan is there with the win. Second place is Walbert. Third is North, and Beyer out the back in a second consecutive shared heat. But a big confidence booster for Adam Roynan again against the strong Kings Lynn reserve pairing, and he's won Heat 2. And as we've seen several times this season, he's not just won Heat 2, he's won it by a mile. Great to see Adam Roynan winning Heat 2s, winning races in the Elite League, and gaining the confidence from doing it, riding well with Workington and with Dudley, and transferring it into the Elite League. Roynan wins for Coventry. Second place was Walbert, third was North, and it's Coventry 6, Kings Lynn 6. On to Heat 3 then, with Kenny Larson riding in red for the Bees. Had so much bad luck last week at Poole on the Friday evening with a couple of breakdowns, chain failure, engine seized, fell off in one as well. hopefully no such trouble tonight. He rides in red, Edward Kennett goes in blue. It's Mads Corneliussen in white, there's a name to conjure with. Scored a maximum here last season in that very tricky condition league match back in September, but also scored a maximum last night at former track Swindon from 4 rides. So Mads Corneliussen is clearly in form. He rides in white, and it's Jordan Frampton riding in yellow. Familiar face, rode for the Bees in 2009, came here and did well with Bellevue in 2011. Doubling up with Kings Lynn. It's his debut tonight because David Howe, who has been banging in points home and away wherever he's been riding, is racing for Scunthorpe tonight in a rearranged Premier League Cup fixture. Scunthorpe were without a fixture tonight until they were rained off on Monday, and David Howe was going to be a key man in tonight's fixture for Kings Lynn, but Jordan Frampton may be as well, because of course he does know the track very well indeed. He is just back from a broken scaphoid, so but had a good meeting at Leicester last weekend, so it's clearly back in the swing of things. Heat 3 then, Kennett on the inside, Corneliussen gate 2, Larson gate 3, Frampton gate 4, green light comes on then, and away they go, and it's a pretty even break, and it's a good start by Corneliussen. Kennett gets the bend in front, sends Corneliussen wide, switching back is Frampton, Larson stuck in the middle, and Kennett leads, and the stars go either side of Kenny Larson, and it's Edward Kennett from Mads Corneliussen. Corneliussen really wide, Larson's gone round Frampton, Larson's gone inside Corneliussen. What a first time it's been where that was. Kennett leads from Larson, Larson sends himself really wide on turn 2, Corneliussen in third place, Frampton. That was tremendous stuff on that one with all 4 involved, and it's Edward Kennett from Kenny Larson with Mads Corneliussen, who reeled off 4 perfect wins last night at Swindon, and now finding himself in third place, and Frampton has gone to the back. Edward Kennett and Kenny Larson both strong there in the early stages. They had to be. Larson was done either side by the Kings Lynn duo, but he still managed to get past both coming off turn 4, and the Bees may be set for the first 5-1 of the evening. Edward Kennett leads onto his last lap. Larson in there with him in second. Kennett going wide off turn 2. Larson in second place. Corneliussen third, and Frampton up the back. But what a first lap that was. Best first lap we've seen so far this season, as Kennett comes round turn 3 and 4 to win the race, backed up by Kenny Larson. 5-1 to Coventry in Heat 3. Third place Mads Corneliussen. Jordan Frampton at the back. Great stuff there in the early stages. Really tight on the first and second bed as Kennett got himself in front. Corneliussen and Larson were battling. Larson was then done either side by Frampton and by Corneliussen, but he didn't panic. He got the right line into bend 3. He went round Frampton, inside Corneliussen, and still came through for second place behind Edward Kennett. And Coventry get a 5-1 out of heat number 3. Kennett wins it, Larson second, third Corneliussen, and it's Coventry 11, Kings Lynn 7.
Excellent, yeah, good points there.
And they come in for Heat 4, Scott Nichols and Henning Beyer for the Bees, Magic Janowski and Dakota North for the Stars. Janowski, the reigning world under-21 champion, second appearance at Coventry this season, rode in the Brandonapolis, and switching from Swindon to Kings Lynn. Definitely a key man in this meeting and in several Kings Lynn meetings, because of course Kings Lynn have applied the principle of Mads Corneliussen being their second heat leader is going at number 3 to enable them to have a few more tactical options if they need them later in the meeting. But it does mean that Janowski rides in that difficult number 5 position and still learning the Elite League tracks, but we've said before, Coventry is one where he ought to have a reason, be able to get round reasonably well, and he has won races here in the past. He's just looking for that consistency on UK circuits. So Beyer rides in blue here off the inside, North yellow off gate 2, Nichols red gate 3, Janowski in white off the outside, and here we go with heat 4, green light comes on, and then away they go, short hold by Jim McGregor, and Nichols gets the bend in front of Janowski, who goes sailing around the outside. Can he make it there? Nichols sends him wide, and Nichols leads the back straight for the first time, and crucially Beyer has got the third place this time over Dakota North. It's Scott Nichols with the advantage. Janowski goes out of shape really on 3 and 4, and Henning Beyer comes into challenge, but it's Nichols from a very fast looking Janowski who is gaining ground back in on Scott Nichols. North is trying to go round Beyer, but he'll have his work cut out to do that, and it's Scott Nichols here from Magic Janowski. Good start off 3 from Nichols. He just got to the bend in front of Janowski. Experience took him wide, saw the run of Janowski and has the advantage now, but the pole looks quick, and he's chasing Nichols without managing to make any impression on him, and the similar story really for third and fourth, because Beyer is holding a fairly comfortable third place ahead of Dakota North, who's buzzing around behind him but can't find a way through. So off the last lap goes Scott Nichols, who was so short on race wins last Friday. Well, in fact, he didn't get any, but it looks like he's going to get one here over Janowski. And Beyer is holding that third for the Bees, which will take them into an early 6-point advantage. Scott Nichols comes round to win Heat 4 for the Bees. Second place is Janowski, and Beyer third place over a fast finishing Dakota North, who's not happy he's missed out there Good running by Coventry on the first lap of that one, with Scott Nichols surging from gate 3 to get to the bend in front of Magic Janowski. Janowski's run round the outside, blocked by the Coventry man, and Henning Bayer hanging on to third place over Dakota North. So a good start tonight for the Bees. They get a 4-2 in heat 4. They lead by 15 points to 9.
Good stuff there, nice one there for Scotty.
So here we go with heat 5. Kenny Larson, Edward Kennett, Niels Christian Everson and Daniel Nermark. Niels Christian Everson, the only race winner so far for Kings Lynn. It was an impressive race win too. It was in the fastest time of the day the night by some distance, 60.5. Next best was the 61.1 that Nichols clocked in heat 2. In fact, all of those other 3 heat winners were in a similar time. So Everson was some way quicker. You do. Obviously, heat 1 is, in theory, the best track conditions for fast times, but it was clearly a fast time by Everson in tonight's conditions. I mentioned we had some rain, quite a bit of rain yesterday, so the times in around that 60-61 mark is a bit slower than you'd normally expect in the Elite League, but I think it tends to get until around May time before you really start seeing the 58s and 59s on a regular basis around Coventry. So see what Everson does here against this strong Coventry pairing of Larson and Kennett, which took a 5-1 over Corneliuson in heat 3, which is a good result. They now face Everson and Nermark in what, as I say, is a very solid looking Kings Lynn side. They're number 1 Everson, 8 average, higher than any of the Coventry riders, but then they've really packed strength lower down. Nermark 6.17, Janowski 6.06, Corneliuson 7.5. So different route for Kings Lynn this year, because of course they had Bier last year at the top of their order, Kenneth Bier. Heat 5 then with Nermark on the inside, Larson gate 2, Everson gate 3, Kennett gate 4, green light comes on and away they go, and Nermark lifts off the inside, Kennett gets to the bend in front of Niels Christian Everson, and the red lights have come on. Very competitive indeed once again, but the red lights are on, and Edward Kennett will feel a bit frustrated by that because he had ridden the blinder around turns 1 and 2 to get the better of Niels Christian Everson. But again, referee Jim McGregor not happy with the start, so there are no disqualification lights on, so it's clearly going to be all 4 back once again. And Edward Kennett shrugs his shoulders, doesn't know what was wrong with that at all. There was nothing wrong with it from his point of view. He'd ridden a super ride to get around the outside of Niels Christian Everson, but the referee Jim McGregor not happy with it, so he's called all 4 riders back. And there may have been a fractional move from Daniel Nermark, but I really can't see anything wrong with that whatsoever. Rob Lyon is here with his arms outstretched. Everyone's a bit perplexed. That's the second one that we've looked at and we can't really see an awful lot wrong with. So Rob Lyon, in fact, has gone straight to the phone, and that's quite interesting because it's not his rider who was in front when that happened. We're going to see it again here, and I thought, I can't quite see Daniel Nermark from where I am on the screen, but just taking a look at it once again, and there's just nothing. There's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with that whatsoever. And we've actually got both. We've got Rob Lyon and Colin Pratt's down there as well, and they're just having a word about that. And I think from Rob Lyon's point of view, he knows this is Coventry's strongest combination himself, so he would have been happy enough to see a 3-3 with Everson and Nermark holding Larson at bay, although Kennett had got the lead. And everyone's just with their arms outstretched here, quite wondering why on earth that one was stopped. And it's interesting that Rob Lyon made that phone call, even though it was a Coventry rider who'd emerged from that tight first bend in front. So Jim McGregor, well, of course, having made the long trip down from Scotland, I'm sure he wants to feel a part of things, and so we have our second restart of the night, and we bring him round for the rerun of Heat 5. So into line they come once again. Daniel Nermark in yellow off the inside. For some reason the 1 minute warning is now sounding when all 4 runners are up to tapes. We've got Kenny Larson on gate 2, Niels Christian Everson gate 3, on the outside Edward Kennett. Niels Christian Everson having debate here with Gary Snooks. This is not the first time it's happened. Recall last year Niels Christian Everson was not good friends with Gary Snooks and ended up getting himself disqualified for delaying the start in a particular race. So there is history in this one, but he has come into line now alongside Kenny Larson, and here we go for the rerun of heat number 5. Green light comes on, away they go, decent start, away they go, and this time Everson gets to the bend just in front of Kennett, but Kennett will keep it on round the outside. Everson leads, Larson moves inside Nermark for third, or does he? In fact, Nermark goes back round him into the bend, and Kennett trying to go right round Niels Christian Everson, who holds it mid-track. Kennett with the power round the outside. Good battling, Everson still has the advantage. Everson from Kennett, who goes colossally wide on turn 2. Larson trying to get back on Daniel Nurmark as he got the back straight into bend 3, and Nurmark just about cramps him off. We've got 2 races here. It's Everson with the advantage from Edward Kennett, and it's Nurmark locking up and Kenny Larson trying to get back down the inside. Looks like Everson's got the measure of Edward Kennett here, who's going so wide trying to pass him, and now Larson going for the move around the outside on Daniel Nurmark, but Everson's got clear of Kennett, and the race on now for 3rd with Nurmark, and Larson with the speed going round the outside, and Nurmark will try and block him, and he has done so far with just a lap to go. Now Nurmark goes a bit wide himself. Larson will try and come back on the inside, but Nurmark might just have it here, and Kings Lynn should get a couple of points back as Niels Christian Everson comes round turns 3 and 4 to win it. 2nd place, Kennett's come to a stop, and Kennett just about gets home in 2nd place. 3rd is Daniel Nurmark, and Kenny Larson at the back, and Kennett with some kind of problem there off the final bend, and he gets it home for 2nd place over Daniel Nurmark, and Kenny Larson at the back in a very competitive heat number 5. Kings Lynn take their first advantage of the meeting. It's a 4-2. It's a 2nd good win for Niels Christian Everson. 2nd place goes to Edward Kennett after a strong chase. 3rd to Daniel Nurmark, and it's Coventry 17, Kings Lynn 13.
And that's allowed him to win the race in a race time of 60 seconds exactly.
Not sure quite what was going on with Edward Kennett there on the last bend of heat 5. He certainly seemed to check up very early for the finishing line. Whether he could feel something going wrong and just made sure he got there, I don't know, but he did get there ahead of Daniel Nurmark, but Kings Lynn did claw a couple of points back. So heat 6 on the way with Chris Harris riding in red for the Bees. Magic Janowski and Whitey look pretty quick first time out. He's off gate 2 for Kings Lynn. Gate 3 in blue is Lee Lanham, and off the outside in yellow is Kevin Walbert. Certainly there's no doubt that the Norfolk Arena is a circuit which should suit Magic Janowski. He did last year when he rode for Swindon at Kings Lynn, and that was really what gave them the incentive to sign him over the winter when he wasn't part of Swindon's plans. So it's definitely going to create some excitement. Definitely a big coming force in Speedway, Magic Janowski. Big week coming up for Coventry with home and away against Swindon next week, who are off like an absolute train this season. Roscoe returns here next Friday, and they've got to get the points here against Kings Lynn first, and that is not going to be easy tonight. Harris on the inside, Janowski gate 2, Lanham gate 3, Walbert off the outside, and Harris outgated, and Lanham outgated as well, and round the outside goes Walbert. It's Janowski who leads, Walbert 2nd, Harris 3rd, Lanham at the back, and Harris completely outgated by both Kings Lynn riders, and now he's got some real catching up to do as the lead is being held by Magic Janowski. Walbert in 2nd place, Harris in 3rd, going hard into that bend, trying to get around the outside. Harris gets round Walbert and moves through into 2nd place. He's got speed during the race, but he hasn't got speed off the start line, and that's left Janowski with a decent advantage here in this heat 6. Harris with just 2 laps to try and catch him up. He's taking the speed into the 2nd bend. He's reeling in the ground here, Chris Harris. He's given himself plenty to do, but he's still got a lap and a bit to do it. Harris sailing around the outside. Janowski is there. Louis there now because Harris is caught up with 1 lap to go, and Harris, if he keeps it on the outside, he still might get Janowski. Janowski rides it wide. Harris getting closer and closer with just half a lap to go. Janowski from Harris. Harris right round the boards. Janowski rides defensive. Harris squeezing round the outside, close to the finishing line, and it's Chris Harris who gets it with a fantastic ride. Chris Harris wins it for Coventry over Magic Janowski. 3rd place is Kevin Walbert. Chris Harris was nowhere off the start line there. A disastrous start for Chris Harris, but a spectacular chase took him past Walbert on lap 2 and took him round the outside of Janowski off turn 4, and Chris Harris does it in style in heat 6 for Coventry with a blistering ride round the boards, and he gets it off Janowski off the final bend. Harris wins it, 2nd place Janowski, 3rd Walbert. Sensational ride, Coventry 20, Kings Lynn 16. Super ride by Chris Harris in heat 6. Credit to Janowski for allowing him room, a bike's width room around the outside to get round the outside, but Janowski knew he'd been done by Harris. He needed to commit wide a bit earlier and didn't do so, and Harris took it and takes the victory for Coventry, but there's still only 4 points in it, so Kings Lynn doing a good containing job so far. It's really just that 5-1 in heat 3 that's the difference between the two sides. As I mentioned, Coventry go to Swindon on Monday in a really tough meeting, and then a really tough meeting here next Friday against Swindon themselves, who are getting their results without Troy Batchelor, effectively. Well, he's there, but he's not scoring many points, particularly at home. But the likes of Nick Morris and Peter Kilderman, well known here. Peter Kilderman was seen here occasionally last year. They are taking the big points for Swindon, and going to be a heck of a tough one here, because Kilderman at reserve is going to cause Coventry all manner of trouble here next week. Heat number 7 then, Mads Corneliusson in white off the inside, Scott Nichols in red off gate 2, Jordan Frampton in yellow off gate 3, and Adam Roynan in blue off gate 4. 2016 in Coventry's favour. Here we go with heat number 7. Start Marshal calling Frampton up to tapes there in gate number 3. Here we go with the green line now on from Jim McGregor. Short hold that time, and Nichols gets the bend in front of Mads Corneliusson, and Roynan almost got round the outside of Frampton. In fact, he still might, and he goes, and Frampton blocks out Roynan, makes absolutely sure there's no way around. Shame that, because Roynan was got the run there, and he just made a mistake, and now he almost goes on bend 4, and that will end his challenge, I would think, as Nichols race leads, and Nichols gets himself in trouble there on the second bend, but he manages to recover. Roynan made a really good start from the outside. He'd outgated Frampton. He was thinking about Corneliusson as well, but just got in trouble mid-bend. That took him back to the back, and he was trying to make it back round the outside of the Kings Lynn man Frampton. Frampton made certain on the back straight there's going to be no way through, and therefore heat number 7 looks like being a second shed one in succession as Nichols race leads from Corneliusson. Corneliusson getting that outside run going, but he's not going to get to Nichols from there. Nichols rising tight at that time. Second place Corneliusson, third place is Frampton. Roynan has actually regained ground quite nicely on the Jordan Frampton after a mistake on the first lap, but it's Scott Nichols coming through to win heat 7 for the Bees. Second place Mads Corneliusson, third place Jordan Frampton, and a bit unfortunate there for Adam Roynan because he was very much there on the first bend. He'd outgated Frampton and he was thinking about Corneliusson as well, but he just made a mistake mid-bend that sent him out wide. That gave the Stars the chance to get back inside him, and Frampton made sure he closed the door on the back straight to stop Roynan from coming through. But Nichols makes it 2 rides and 2 wins. He wins it, but the Stars again pack the places. It's Coventry 23, Kings Lynn 19.
So Scott Nichols takes his second win of the night. And the rider, Lee Lanham.
So gap is still 4 points. Heat 8 on the way. Lee Lanham, Henning Beyer, Daniel Nurmark and Dakota North. Pick a winner out of this. This is not an easy one to call. When you look at the lineup, you can see Lanham with 1 paid 2 from 2, Beyer with 1 from 2, Nurmark with 1 from 2, and North with 1 paid 2 from 2. So, as I say, it's not an easy one to call at all. Coventry would, of course, more normally this season have the fast skating Summers in action here in Heat 8, which you would have to say that the absence of Summers for Coventry probably cancels out the absence of Howell for Kings Lynn this evening. Their replacements have both scored 1 paid 2, Lanham and Frampton. Referee Jim McGregor is calling for a 30-second warning when all the riders are about a yard from the start line. And the start marshal is doing his job perfectly well anyway, getting them all into line. So anyway, 4 points in it. Kings Lynn with 1 and 3 here. Can they get themselves right back in the meeting? North on the inside, Beyer on gate 2, Nurmark on gate 3, Lanham on gate number 4. Here we go with Heat 8, as I say, a very hard race indeed to call. What will they do on the track? And away they go. And it's a good start by the Kings Lynn Stars. Off the inside comes Walbert, who's coming as a change. In fact, Walbert leads, and round the outside goes Nurmark, and Lanham trying to get round the outside as well in third. Nurmark out of shape on turn 3. Beyer at the back. Nurmark well out of shape, but Walbert much more impressive here tonight. He's got the advantage. Walbert leads, sending his partner Nurmark a bit wide, but they've got it, and they've got more speed than Lanham and Beyer, and Kings Lynn here are going to level the scores in Heat 8, and a good change by Rob Lyon to bring in Walbert for Dakota North. Nurmark holds that second place. The experience of Daniel Nurmark is good enough to hold off Lee Lanham and Henning Beyer, and Coventry, having built a 6-point lead in the first 4 races, are going to have to build it again in the last half of the meeting, because Kings Lynn are making the fast start off 1 and 3, and Walbert, as I say, has struggled in his last couple of away matches at Peterborough and at Swindon, is much more on the pace tonight and could take more rides later in the meeting if Rob Lyon decides to go in that direction. Walbert comes round to win Heat 8, tracked by a rather erratic but still second Daniel Nurmark. Lanham third, Beyer at the back. 5-1 to Kings Lynn in Heat 8, and a good change by Rob Lyon, despite the fact that I didn't know about it until I saw him come round the first bend. But Kevin Walbert, his first time he's ridden Coventry, and he's been impressive, has the German. He wins the race. Second place Daniel Nurmark, third place Lee Lanham, and you've got to say Coventry suffering for the absence of Aaron Summers here tonight, as Walbert wins it for Kings Lynn 5-1, and we're back all square at 24 points apiece.
In a time of 61 seconds exactly.
So Rob Lyon makes the reverse switch in Heat 9 using Dakota North here. It's his third ride of the meeting. He's due out in Heat 14 with Jordan Frampton, but you've got to suspect that Walbert will take the ride of one of those two, the way things look at the moment. And Coventry, who are on 2 and 4 here with Janowski on the inside, have got to be looking to get an advantage here, preferably a 5-1. It won't be easy because Janowski's made some pretty good starts so far in his first 2 rides, only just outgated by Nichols in Heat 4, and he certainly got to the bend and led 3 3/4 laps of Heat 6 well enough. So Janowski's on the pace here, but Coventry need Larson and Kennett here to take a 5-1, I would say, to get themselves back on track after being reeled in. Of course, they were reeled in last week against Poole much later in the meeting, but tonight they've been pegged back in that Heat 8, and we said Heat 8 could go either way. I have to say, if I'd been aware that Walbert was in that one, I would have probably called it to be in Kings Lynn's favour, but the fact that Nermark was in there with him was very important indeed, and really there was no way through for either Lanham or Bayer, who can both gators, but in that situation they weren't going to find a way through. So Janowski in white off the inside, Kennett goes in blue off gate 2, North yellow gate 3, Larson red off the outside. Here we go, Heat 9, green light on, and away they go, and Kennett's outgated Janowski, and Larson has got round the outside. If Kennett sees him, he does. Larson gets round the outside, Kennett gets round the outside, Janowski in third. That's what Coventry wanted, and that's what they've got. They've got a 5-1 situation. Janowski trying to go round Edward Kennett, who holds it really tight, and now swings out wide once again. And Kenny Larson has the advantage. Edward Kennett in second place, Janowski in third. North at the back, North was out of shape on turn 2, which almost caused Larson a problem, but Larson went really wide, and that took him right round everyone, and Kennett was, I think he was aware he was there, and just tucked back ever so slightly, and managed to make sure Kennett's going so hard into that bend, and Janowski's right there with him. Kennett gets back round Janowski and moves through back into second place, but he's having a tough ride here. Edward Kennett goes wide off 3 and 4. Not sure if Kennett's gone quite the right way on set-up in this Heat 9. It's Larson who leads. Kennett in second place, trying to hold it tighter. He does, and Coventry, after a 5-1 shot concession in Heat 8, might be able to hit back in Heat 9. It's Larson and Kennett, their strong combination, who come round and do just that in Heat 9. Kenny Larson wins it. Second place, Edward Kennett. Janowski in third place, and frustrated with that. North at the back, and Coventry, they trade the 5-1s, conceding an 8, getting it back in 9. It is a strong combination. They've taken 2 5-1s in their 3 heats, and it was a good first and second bend as well from Kenny Larson and Edward Kennett, and that's what Coventry required after the setback in Heat 8. They've bounced straight back in 9. Victory for Kenny Larson, second Edward Kennett, third Magic Janowski, and it's Coventry 29, Kings Lynn 25. Clock counting down, Lee Allen was the last man out onto the track as he comes into gate 2. Jordan Frampton here on the inside, Mads Corneliusson on gate 3, and Chris Harris on the outside. Coventry have got themselves back into a 4-point lead, 29 over 25. It's been a night where they built the 6-point lead, they were pegged back, and now they've regained a 4-point lead. The start marshal now calling Chris Harris into line on the outside. Frampton then rides in yellow off the inside. Lanham, who I think has changed bikes, I'm not quite sure what machine he's come out on here. And the start marshal now moving Frampton there on the inside gate. Referee flashing the green light to indicate his displeasure. It's Jordan Frampton being moved there by the starting marshal. He rides in yellow. As I say, they've got the option of replacing either Frampton or North with Walbert in Heat 14. That's the logical change for Kings Lynn to make later in the meeting. So here we go with Heat 10. Frampton in yellow off the inside, Lanham in blue off gate 2, Corneliusson in white off gate 3, and Harris goes in red off the outside. That tremendous chase and win in Heat 6, but we're hoping to be a bit closer from the start this time as we get ready for Heat number 10. 4 points the gap, green light comes on then, and away they go, and this time it's a great start by Corneliusson once again, and not a good one by Harris, who goes straight for the outside. Corneliusson tries to take him wide, Harris with so much speed, and Corneliusson leads into the bend. Harris still trying to go around him on bends 3 and 4, Harris going so wide, and Harris makes it round Mads Corneliusson and leads. Another blistering ride by Chris Harris round the outside as he holds the advantage over Mads Corneliusson, but crucially it's Frampton in third over Lanham. Harris very wide indeed there, that was almost Pawlicki style there, almost clattered the fence on the second bend as he picks up the drive. Chris Harris here has the advantage. Mads Corneliusson second, Jordan Frampton in third place, as Harris again in real trouble on turn 2 and has to do so well to stop on, and meanwhile Frampton losing ground, and Lanham beginning to come in with a challenge. Can he nick a third place here for the Bees with Frampton making a few mistakes? It's Harris who leads, and might take it a bit tighter this time, please, Chris. Harris leads from Corneliuson. It's Frampton third now, moving clear of Lanham, who's not had a particularly good night, it must be said. So heat number 10 looks like it's going to be shared. More heroics from Chris Harris to win it. Harris gets it over Corneliuson. Third place is Jordan Frampton with Lee Lanham out the back, and Harris again using the outside. Corneliuson wanted the outside, but he knew that Chris Harris was there as well, and Harris just made it in a very, very hard contested first lap. And to be fair, Chris Harris gave us a fright a couple of times, almost drilling himself back into the fence on turn 2, but he did get home safely, and the Bees take a 4-point lead into the interval. Harris wins heat 10. Second place is Corneliuson. Third, Frampton. Kings Lynn still very much in this meeting with 10 heats gone. It's Coventry 32, Kings Lynn 28.
So, as I said, all sadly, just check your programs out, the full story is there. It's very sad, especially for a young man who just coming up to 16 to unfortunately lose his life. So we've got Chris Harris, who we're going to send up in a hot air balloon. Now we go. And, as I say, poor old Bradley is celebrating his life. Taken from him very, very young man.
So here we go with heat 11, Scott Nichols and Adam Moynihan for the Bees, Niels Christian-Everson and Daniel Nurmark for the Stars. A clash of two unbeaten riders here, with Nichols and Everson on gates 1 and 2, both with 2 rides and 2 wins. Adam Moynihan with a win in his opening ride, then a last place in his second, and Daniel Nurmark, he rides in yellow with 3 paid for so far. And I wonder if the Bees will contemplate using Royland also in heat 12 in place of Henning Bayer. That's going to be a possibility here tonight, because Bayer's not had a good night so far. The Stars can go as they are with Corneliuson and Walbert in heat 12. And But certainly good value for that with 6 paid 7 from 3 rides. Coventry, the way the race card works, Coventry have got one of their big guns covering all the remaining races. Into line then for heat number 11. Nichols riding in red off the inside, Everson in white off gate 2, Roynan goes in blue off gate 3, and Nurmark goes in yellow off the outside. 2 rides, 2 wins for Scott Nichols, 2 rides, 2 wins for Niels Christian Everson. Adam Roynan with a win in his first ride, Daniel Nurmark a paid win in his last ride, and the Bees take a 4-point lead into the final 5 heats of tonight's fixture. Everson's been the fastest man around Brandon so far tonight. Can he keep that going now against Scott Nichols in heat number 11? Bees 32, Kings Lynn 28. Green light comes on for heat number 11. Away they go. And it is a great start by Niels Christian Everson. Looking at from Nurmark around the outside. Nurmark absolutely flies from the start and gets the advantage. And Nichols going nowhere in the early stages as Nurmark goes round his teammate. Niels Christian Everson sends himself really wide. Nurmark keeps it wound on. And Nurmark leads from Everson. It's Nichols in third place. And this is a disaster for Coventry in heat number 11. Nichols didn't make the start. Nurmark from absolutely nowhere flew round the outside, and if Kings Lynn take a 5-1 here, this will completely transform the meeting. Nichols trying to regain ground now on Niels Christian Everson. It's Nurmark with the advantage. Everson in second place. Everson's actually a bit too quick for Nurmark here as he's having to ride defensively with Nichols trying to make his way around the outside. Nichols going wide. Everson blocking him out. It's getting really tight now as Nichols gets around the outside. Everson trying to block him out. It's Nurmark from Everson. It's Nichols in third, and Nichols now has to turn back tight because Everson's blocked him again. It's Nurmark from Everson. Nichols in third. Roynan at the back, and Nurmark coming round with the win. And can Nichols cut back on Niels Christian Everson? He might, despite of the final bet, he doesn't. Kings Lynn take a 5-1. That's a huge blow for Coventry in heat number 11, and a huge result for Kings Lynn. Nurmark absolutely flew off the outside there. Where did that come from? Oh, Nichols was then denied by the team riding of Niels Christian Everson. It looked like he might make it round the outside, and well, we've got game on now without a shadow of a doubt, because no one could see a 5-1 to Kings Lynn coming in heat number 11. I mentioned Coventry got big guns covering races, but to that extent, Kings Lynn with a 5-1, 4 heats to go, and we are all square. So, Coventry 33, Kings Lynn 33.
In a time of 61.3.
Heat 12 goes as to programme with Kenny Larson on the inside, Kevin Walbert on gate 2, Henning Bayer on gate 3, Mads Corneliusson on gate number 4. Coventry, well, we know they have a history of making stuttering starts to seasons, but it was all so positive in the Midland League. And now the real business has started. They're finding it tough, and clearly the absence of Aaron Summers tonight, a big blow to Coventry. David Howell mentioned has been missing for Kings Lynn, and his match against Sheffield's actually been abandoned tonight after 9 races. There's been a lot of rain around the country. Coventry's avoided it, and we're going to get a meeting in here tonight, and it's very, very hard to say which way it's going to go. Larson on the inside, Warwood on gate 2, Bayer on gate 3, and Cornelius on the outside. And here we go then with heat number 12. Green light comes on then from the referee, and away they go. And Kings Lynn making really fast starts. They've done it again with Walbert and Corneliusson, with Larson in third place and Bayer at the back. And the meeting is turning just as it did last week in the closing stages, as Larson tries to get round the outside of Kevin Walbert and at least split the Kings Lynn combination. He's done that. Now can he catch Mads Corneliusson? It's Corneliusson from Larson. Walbert in third place, Bayer at the back. I'm a little bit surprised that he didn't bring Roynan in here in heat 12. I think Roynan may have been the better bet in this one, because he has been making some starts, and Bayer has not made a start all night. Kings Lynn are going to go in front here in heat 12 with Mads Corneliusson's first win of the night, because Larson's not going to get him from there. Larson outgated by both Kings Lynn riders. He did manage to pass one, but he's never going to catch Corneliusson from there with those outside swoops going from Mads Corneliusson. Walbert's been a key man tonight. He's holding that third place once again. He's had control really of the reserve position after heat 2, and Kings Lynn are going to go in front with 3 heats to go, and they have Everson covering 2 of those last 3 races. Victory is with Mads Corneliusson in 12, second place Kenny Larson, third Kevin Walbert, heading Bay up at the back. And I've got to say, I think that Adam Roynan may have been the call there in heat number 12, the way the meeting has gone. But Bayer at the back, and with 3 heats to go, 2 points in front now, Kings Lynn. They've been chipping away all night, they've kept themselves in contention, and now they're in front, and they've got Everson covering 2 of the last 3 heats. Coventry have got to find someone here to beat Niels Christian Everson, or they'll be dropping several points tonight, maybe more than just 1. So, win for Corneliusson, second Larson, third Walbert. It's Coventry 35, Kings Lynn 37. So the Bees find themselves now under big pressure. 2 down. Don't forget they were 6 up after heat 4. They were still 4 up after heat 10. But well, last week it was heat 10 and heat number 11. This week it's heat 11 and heat 12, which have turned the contest. And now they're looking to Chris Harris and Scott Nichols to bring them back into it. 14's interesting. You've got to suggest that Walbert will ride in 14 in place of either Frampton or North. Bees have Kennett and Roynan. But really, a couple of races have turned this meeting, and Kings Lynn are certainly going to take something back. They've been so close, Kings Lynn, to away points earlier this season away from home. They're certainly going to take something here, it would seem, unless Coventry can finish with a series of advantages. But as things stand, with the way they're gating Kings Lynn, they could certainly take a win. They've got the lead, but they've got only 3 heats to hang on. And Coventry, if they lose this one, they'll be asking some questions, and it'll be the key factor is undoubtedly the doubling up issue with Summers, but the fact that Bayer's had a poor night tonight, and that does heap pressure on the top 4 to not make any slip-ups. And there have been a couple which are damaging when you're looking for races to find a heat advantage. And though this heat 13 is a tough race, it's one where Coventry have to be looking for an advantage. Everson in white off the inside, Harris in red off gate 2, Janowski in yellow off gate 3, Nichols in blue off the outside. Big heat number 13 with Kings Lynn 2 points in front, and away they go. And Harris this time out gates Everson, comes Everson, Nichols goes around the outside, and the Bees might get what they want here in 13, but Nichols can't quite make it around the outside. No, at least not yet, as Harris leads. Nichols still going round the outside of Everson. Everson stuck on the inside. Janowski is round the outside, and Nichols gets round the outside and comes over Niels Christian Everson, and Nichols holds the second. Everson back from the outside. Harris went so wide on turn 2, but that didn't do any particular damage, and Coventry have got 1 and 2 in the big heat 13 over Niels Christian Everson so far unbeaten. They're looking for each other. Nichols actually with more speed than Harris here. Harris going wide on turn 2. Nichols in there with him. They're pulling away from Niels Christian Everson. Nichols had to work really hard in the early stages to make his way to the front, but he did so, and Nichols leads with Harris second. Harris now moves to the inside, Nichols around the outside. Everson regaining ground on Chris Harris with just half a lap to go or so. Janowski at the back. Everson tries to peg the inside, but Coventry are going to hit back again. It's a tremendous meeting here, and there's still more drama to come as Scott Nichols wins heat 13 for the Bees. Chris Harris in second place, third Niels Christian Everson beaten for the first time tonight. Magic Janowski at the back, and the Bees, boy oh boy, did they need a big response there, and they got it from Chris Harris and Scott Nichols over Niels Christian Everson. Great start by Chris Harris in the nick of time over Niels Christian Everson. Nichols flying around the outside, didn't make it, but I thought he would off turn 2, but did make it off turn 4 into lap 2, and the Bees go back in front with 2 heats to go. Winner Scott Nichols, second Chris Harris, third place Niels Christian Everson, 2 heats to go. It's Coventry 40, Kings Lynn 38. 14 then on the way. Edward Kennett and Adam Roylan, Jordan Frampton and Kevin Walbert. What a super meeting it's been. Lots of good racing, very competitive indeed, and still could go either way. 15 more clearly, well, you would think it's going to be Harris and Nichols again, and it was going to be Everson and Corneliuson, you would think. Kings Lynn, of course, will have choice of gates for that heat 15. I would think they'll go 2 and 4, based on the fact that they've missed out from 1 and 3 in heat 13. Coventry have 1 and 3 here, with Roynan on the inside, Frampton on gate 2, Kennett gate 3, and Walbert, who comes in for North off the outside. That was the call that Rob Lyon had to make. Would he take out Frampton or North? It's North he's taken out, and he's gone with Kevin Walbert, who's scored every time and has scored 7, paid 8 from 4 rides, and clearly taken to Brandon. Kennett, Coventry will be looking to control heat 14. Can Roynan get in there with a point? If the Bees can get an advantage here, then they will be fairly. They shouldn't lose the meeting. If they're looking for all 3 points, then they need something. They need an advantage here first and foremost. Then they need their big guns to fire again in heat 15. So here we go with heat 14. Kings Lynn still in great shape to take something from tonight's meeting. What will this one bring? Roynan on the inside, Frampton gate 2, Kennett gate 3, and Walbert goes off the outside. Here we go then for 14, and away they go. It's a good start by Roynan and a good start by Kennett. Roynan out of shape on turn 1. How's he stopped on there? But Walbert's in even worse shape, and Roynan still comes through, and Roynan lifts, and this was really what Nichols did last week, and somehow he stops on, and now he goes down. Roynan does fall, and the bike spins, and Roynan needs to clear the track quickly, because Edward Kennett's got the advantage here. Roynan's gone, but Kennett leads. Stars second and third. What a first lap that was from Adam Roynan. so nearly in the mix on several occasions and had numerous nervous moments before he finally went down. Kennett race leads, which will take the Bees into 15 with the advantage. And they'll have to pick 2 from 3 out of Harris, Nichols and Kennett in that final race. Kings Lynn will take something here tonight, no doubt about that. Coventry are going to drop more home points, but they'll want to only drop 1, there's no doubt about that. As Kennett race leads from Frampton with Walbert in 3rd place. It's got to be Everson and Corneliuson for Kings Lynn, but who will it be for Coventry? Harris, Nichols or Kennett? 2 from 3. Edward Kennett leads at the back straight for the final time. 2nd place Jordan Frampton, 3rd place Kevin Walbert. Kennett wins 14 for Coventry. They'll go in front with 1 heat to go. They are in front, 2 points clear. Edward Kennett wins it. 2nd place Jordan Frampton, 3rd place Kevin Walbert. Kings Lynn, as I say now, will certainly get something from tonight's meeting. They're only 2 down, were led to Coventry 5-0 in 14. Adam Royland so unlucky. He was made a good start. He made a mistake on 1 and 2 and somehow stopped on. Then he lifted up the back straight and somehow stopped on. And in fact, he went down in a much more routine fall indeed on turn 3. But the bike spat away, and thankfully Royland cleared the track because Kennett had got the advantage. Now Eddie's got 10 paid 11, Bomber's got 10 paid 11, Scott's got 10. So who will Coventry pair in heat 15? They've got the lead with 1 heat to go. It's Coventry 43, Kings Lynn 41.
Second place, 2 points went to Jordan Frampton.
So it's gone down to a last heat decider. The Bees have gone with Chris Harris and Scott Nichols. The Stars have gone with Niels Christensen and Mads Corneliuson, and they have 2 and 4, which I think is, I'm not surprised they've taken it. They didn't make it off 1 and 3 in heat 13, Everson and Janowski, but they're going off 2 and 4 this time. Bees, Harris on the inside, Nichols off 3, needing a 3-3. That's all they need really to win the meeting. But Kings Lynn still with a big chance here because Everson's been making good starts. Corneliuson around the outside, we know he's got the speed, and if they get down in front, the Bees are going to have some serious chasing to do. Some people will be surprised that Kings Lynn have come here and run the Bees so close, but this Elite League is competitive. The teams are evenly matched. Kings Lynn have strength in depth, and the big loss for the Bees tonight has been Summers without a question. Kings Lynn, okay, they had no how. Frampton in the end has come up with 4 paid 6. He hasn't been spectacular, but he has picked up points against the Coventry lower order. And I think Coventry would have preferred to have Summers and Howe in the meeting rather than Lanham and Frampton. Coventry have not had too much from reserves, and I think Royland's been unlucky a couple of times. Bayer's not had a good night, and when that happens, you only need a couple of slip-ups in the middle order, top order. Larson's last place in 5, Nichols conceding a 5-1 in 11, and you find yourself under pressure. The Bees, the last thing they want here is to be overturned here and drop more than 1 point tonight, especially bearing in mind the strong Swindon come here next Friday. We know they lost a sequence of matches early in the 2010 season, but when you've only got 28 matches in the campaign, you don't want to be losing at home too often early on. Heat 15, Harris in red off the inside, Everson white 2, Nichols blue gate 3, Corneliuson yellow off the outside. It's a great start by Everson. Corneliuson's not made it. Nichols goes around the outside. Nichols tries to cut back. Nichols does cut back. Nichols gets the advantage. Harris comes down the inside as well. It's Coventry 1 and 2 as Niels Christensen goes back around the outside, but Corneliuson crucially is out of the equation. Corneliuson did not make it off the outside. I thought he might. When Everson made the start, I really thought Mads Corneliuson might get there too. Harris switching back on Niels Christensen. Everson clamps him into bed 3. Harris doesn't actually need too much here. The Bees can't get 3 points tonight, but they're going to get themselves to it, would appear, as long as Scott Nichols can bring him home in 8:15. Nichols leads from Everson. It's Harris in 3rd, and Corneliuson couldn't do it that time, and I thought he might off the outside. When Everson made the start of 2, I thought Corneliuson was going to come flying round and join him, but it may not happen as Scott Nichols leads on to his last lap. It's Niels Christensen 2nd, it's Chris Harris in 3rd. Corneliuson's got nowhere in heat 15, and after a huge scare and the drop point, Coventry will win tonight with great Scott Nichols winning heat 15, Everson 2nd, Harris 3rd, Corneliuson in the back. Fabulous meeting. There's no question that Kings Lynn deserve a point from it for the way they've ridden. They've hit back, and they could have had even more when they were 2 points in front with 3 to go. The power of Nichols and Harris has taken Coventry through to a victory here tonight, and they do take 2 points in the meeting. They do drop 1, which they'll have to think and reflect back on, but they have got their first Elite League points of the season on the board. And apart from that heat number 11 slip-up, Scott Nichols has been back to blistering form tonight. Chris Harris are battling 3rd place there in heat 15 to make certain for the Bees. They take a 4-2. As I say, fair play Kings Lynn, deserve their point, and it finished Coventry 47, Kings Lynn 43.
Confirmation of the result for heat 15.
So a thoroughly enjoyable meeting. It finishes Coventry 47, Kings Lynn 43. And the scores for Coventry: Chris Harris 11 plus 1, Lee Lanham 2 plus 1, Kenny Larson 7 plus 1, Edward Kennett 10 plus 1, Scott Nichols 13, Adam Royland 3, Henning Bayer 1. And for the Stars, Niels Christian Emerson 11 plus 1, Daniel Nurmark 6 plus 1, Mads Corneliussen 8, Jordan Frampton 4 plus 2, Magic Janowski 5, Kevin Walbert 8 plus 2, and Dakota North 1 plus 1. A thoroughly enjoyable meeting. Coventry take 2 points, Kings Lynn take 1, and that's probably about right on what we've seen tonight. A fair outcome to the meeting. It finished Coventry 47, Kings Lynn 43. That's all from us tonight here on Clean Cut Sports. Hope you enjoyed it. See you next time. Good night.